I thought we had a great training camp, as good as I've been around. I thought today was the first day where, we're getting ready for Rhode Island. Guys are going down to be practice players for the first time. That kind of sets in a little bit. I thought we just got through today. I think we're gonna get better today. That's one of the reasons why you take a couple days out from your first game and plug that in. So you have a little bit more time than a normal week. But like I said, I think it's been a great training camp. I've seen the kids really come together as a team. We did some team bonding stuff where you really saw them all connect. And we do a big brother, little brother thing, which is just hilarious. And it's about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes. And just to see them all engage with each other. And then we do a trivia night with, the whole building. It's, trainers, it's equipment, it's video, it's strength staff, it's everybody, players, coaches, and then the band came over and the freshmen do the fight song, and the band's there doing the fight song with the freshmen, the cheerleaders. So I really like where we're at. Like I said, today was just one of those days that you took a little bit of a step sideways. I won't say step back, but I like where we are right now going into week one. So anyway, questions?
Gonna go with two quarterbacks?
Yeah, so I think I'll give you kind of the history of the quarterback, this year. I think early on they both struggled a little bit. I think they struggled because the ball had to come out of their hand a tick earlier than we would like it to. Because I think the defensive line really played well. And I think it took a little time for our offensive line to get up to speed. And that's really good news, because with all the new defensive linemen we have coming in, to see that as one of our strengths is really exciting. So that especially when you play, the academies and top, you need to have 10 D linemen that can play, and we do. And then also I think the coverage has been better. Less blown coverages, smaller windows. And so I think that all combined to the quarterbacks not progressing at the pace we would have liked them to. And then I think our offensive line started playing better. And I think both quarterbacks started getting into a rhythm. And depends on the day. You could say that's probably your starter. So, we went into it last year thinking that we were going to play two, and then, Evan obviously had 6 touchdowns that first weekend and played really well, and we kind of zeroed in on him. I could see us playing two. I think, Tyler and I are going to talk on Monday. Or probably over the weekend to really kind of finalize where we are with things. But I don't think anyone has really separated themselves. The nice thing is they both have a little bit different skill set. And Tyler did a phenomenal job at Montana State playing 2 quarterbacks. So again, I'm not saying we're gonna go into playing 2 quarterbacks, but I think we're just trying to let it all unfold. I think we're trying to take as much time as possible to let it unfold. But I'm not going to force, I don't want to have a mindset that it's only going to be, one quarterback and a backup. We'll see. And again, we're not there yet, but we're getting close to figuring it out. But, the good news is they both have progressed dramatically the last, 10 days or so.
Even if you don't announce it publicly, do you go into the weekend or Monday, go into one of them and saying, we are preparing for you to start, but
yeah.
you are going to get started.
Yeah, we'll probably have an idea what that first play looks like, and depends on that first play what we're going to do. I think it's a little bit different than last year because they both had similar skill sets. This year we have guys with different skill sets. I think that Johnny's strength has been him, pulling the ball down and running and some of those design runs, but at the same time, Jackson can do that stuff too. But Johnny's probably done that at a little bit different level. And then Johnny's done a great job with the long ball. Jackson can do that too, but he's been really better with the intermediate and moving the ball, consistency in terms of moving the ball down the field. So they're 2 different skill sets. And again, I think we feel good that both can play. I think we feel really blessed to have 2 kids that can play at this level. So yeah, it's if you go in with a predetermined mindset, it never seems to work out, And I think I told you, when I had Flacco, it literally went down to the last scrimmage to decide who was going to be the starting quarterback between he and Ryan Hardy. So
Do you have any concern, considering all the receivers who have been in and out throughout preseason and then splitting all the draft, that sort of the in sync between
Yeah.
receiver and quarterback is going to take weeks?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take weeks. I think, again, one of the nice things is the way the transfer portal works now is that we had all these kids since January. So it's a little different. It's not like they showed up in June. I think, the double rep, like I said, I've never double rep before. I can see what it's doing for our O-line and D-line in terms of the depth it's creating. But the wideouts got a little burned out. That's why we're down 7 at one point. Getting these guys back now, you can just see that it's also part of, I think, the quarterback play too, is like, okay, gotta get the ball out a tick earlier because of the D-line. We now have, 7 wide receivers down. So that's, affecting how we're moving the ball. The windows are tighter because we're playing better in the secondary. And then as time went on, you see, okay, we're getting better protection. They have that little extra tick longer. We're running, we're doing better in the back end, probably because we have 7 wide receivers back healthy now. So I think, it's been a journey. Again, it's not how we kind of thought this was all going to play out. I think we thought our offensive line was going to play really well early because we had 4 starters coming back, plus Kevin Terry. And Kevin Terry would have been the starter last year if he didn't get hurt going into the first game. And then we brought in a couple really good transfers. And so now all of a sudden we have like 7, 8 guys that can play. And they struggled early on. It's just that D-line we did a phenomenal job of keeping the kids that we needed to keep and then adding a bunch of guys. But again, like the last 10 days or so, you can see the O-line's really gotten comfortable and they've done a great job protecting, and that's really helped the quarterbacks a bunch.
You said 7 guys down in the wide receiver room. Are those going to be effective against Rhode Island?
They're all back. Everybody's back, yeah. So the good news is that we have all those guys back now. So I think, Reese is the one guy who may not make it back, but, time will tell on that.
Any across the team that you're particularly concerned about for Rhode Island?
Not really. No, I think we've gotten pretty healthy. I think we did a good job of saying, okay, we're a little banged up right now. Let's back off some of the scrimmage time. Let's get them in. There was a day that we had full pads and live work scheduled, and we went in spiders just because we're like, what? I think we feel pretty good where we're at. I think we have gotten a good evaluation of our players. We have a pretty good idea who can play and who can't play right now. Let's get these guys healthy. And so we've really, worked very hard at trying to get our guys healthy. Like Saturday's going to be, just basically showing them what game day looks like. Okay, we're in the locker room. Hey, first group goes out. Hey, second group goes out. Hey, third group goes out. This is where you warm up. Hey, we have team flex. From team flex, this is what we're going to do individual. Hey, we go back in the locker room. Okay, this is how much time's left in the clock. This is what you should be doing during that time. Hey, we head out. So we're going to be doing, I don't want to get to the link and the first time guys like, are we going out now? Like, what are we doing? So we're going to really just take Saturday and make it one of those. And then, Sunday's going to be, an off day for us for the most part. So, we're going to take some time here and really get our guys fresh. Again, I was really happy with training camp. I thought they really competed. I think they came together as a team. My former defensive coordinator, Dave Cohen, was here for a couple of days, and we used Dave as a consultant. And he goes, you guys have learned to practice. You guys have learned to practice. And you could just see they're competing, but they're not getting in the cylinder of the quarterback. They're competing, but they're keeping everybody up. I mean, it's really been nice to see us come together as a team. And again, I feel really good about us going into week 1. So it's exciting, especially with how college football is these days, with how many new players you have to add and those kind of things. But it really started with us keeping the majority of our, every starter who could come back came back. That just made that locker room that much stronger. So.
At the start of preseason camp, you said, I think we got 7 offensive linemen who can play. You've had
I
guys dinged.
I think we'll play multiple.
Yeah, I was curious particularly because it seems like, in my interpretation, maybe Zach Amlin was number 8, but now maybe he has moved up to at least 7. I'm curious about him.
Yeah,
he's 6'7", but he's playing
Kevin
guard
Terry's
and
missed,
tackle.
Kevin Terry's missed a little time. He will be back for Rhode Island, but we had to bump Zach out there, and Zach played really well. So now you feel really good. Okay, Josh Stone's playing really well. Zach's playing really well. You know, we got the 5 starters, you know, so now all of a sudden, like, you feel you have 7. And I've always felt that if you can just give those guys a series or 2 off during the course of a game, they're that much fresher in the 4th quarter. So, you know, talking to Al, and the thing is, you know, my coaching style is I hire a really good coach that I let him coach. And so I went to Al, like, what do you think? And Al Johnson. And Al was like, yeah, we're going to play more than 5. We're going to play, you know, probably 7 in some sort of like meaningful, you know, time rotation. So again, if he wasn't uncomfortable with that, I wasn't going to force him to do that. But it's exciting to know that we have some depth there, and that it's going to keep our offensive line fresh for 4th quarters, but also fresh for the season. You know, just getting 2 series off or 3 series off a game, you know, for the whole season. Wow, that really can, you know, add a lot of energy to you and the wear and tear off of you. And if we have an injury, we have guys who played real snaps. So, you know, playing multiple offensive linemen is something that I wasn't sure if Al was going to be comfortable with, but I think he almost feels he has to because how well the guys have played.
You've had 5 new guys. Obviously, it's not your decision, but selecting single digits.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of them?
Yeah, it's so exciting. You know, it was so cool calling their names out and seeing how their teammates reacted. And so let me give you how the whole single digit works now. So first of all, it's a nomination process by the players. And so you figure out pretty quickly, okay, like at this level, okay, we're gonna move those 8 guys on or 7 guys on or whatever it is. And below, like, they didn't get enough votes. So there's no certain number, but basically it's like, you know, where we see like there's a 10 vote difference between, you know, or 15 vote or 20 vote difference between number 6 and number 7. Then we move those and we bring in the academic staff, and we bring in the strength staff, and we bring in athletic training, and we bring in the recruiting staff, because sometimes these guys help with recruiting, and equipment staff. And if Savannah says, hey, listen, his locker's a mess all the time, he's out. Or academics go, he misses study halls, he can't represent us the right, he's out. Or, you know, if they're hosting a recruit, he did a horrible job hosting, he's out. So they have the ability to just take a guy out. And then we sit with the coaching staff, and we ask the coaching staff, the coordinator and his position coach, you know, how do you feel about this guy being a single digit? So the vetting system's gotten really hard, and I feel good. I feel great about all of them. So neat, you know, to see Grayson become a single digit. You know, sometimes, you know, guys forget about those O-linemen, but he really has taken on a leadership role. Like, you know, I've told the guys, like, you know, we just updated our locker room, and it's pretty nice looking. And I said, this is your locker room. I don't live in this thing. You guys live in this thing. And so, like, it should be kept a certain way. And so so Grayson and Sabor have taken on the responsibility. If someone's locker's not up to speed, they will handle the punishment. So we got guys doing that kind of stuff. And so it's been so neat. Like, you know, we brought John Stone in to come and compete with Grayson. And that's what a true single digit does. That's just gonna make me better, coach. Not like, why are you guys investing money in another guy coming in? Never heard that from him. That's not who he is. He saw it as, this is a chance for me to get better. And now we're in a situation where we're gonna play, you know, multiple guys, because, you know, it's gonna be good for the team and it's gonna be good for them too. So, you know, I'm so proud of all those guys. Sam Brown, I mean, you know, I always joke that there's triplets, because if I'm outside, he's outside. If I'm in the weight room, he's in the weight room. If I'm up watching video, he's up watching video. I mean, I don't think anyone since, you know, Sam got here has spent more time in this building than Sam. And that's every coach, every player, everybody. I mean, he's just one of those guys. And so, you know, he was an easy pick. You know, Colin Chase and Dante were chosen from last year. Again, high volume vote getters this year too. You know, Eric was really cool because I saw a different player in the fall versus Eric Stewart in the spring. He just played at a different level. And I'm talking to our trainers, like, yeah, he's finally healthy. You know, he had a dislocated heel, you know, he was coming off of. And then, you know, we gave him some leadership opportunities because Curley was out, and, you know, he you know, we needed a voice over there because we had a lot of new players, and he took that on. And then when we went to media day, you just saw him like understand his responsibility, taking on, you know, that. So Sabor is that other guy who, like I said, you know, Grayson and Sabor handle the locker room in terms of you know, how it's supposed to look. And if we're in a leadership council meeting, Sabor has absolutely no problem saying, hey, I don't agree with this. I think we should do this. You know, we gave the guys an opportunity to dress like how they wanted to dress going in on game day, you know, at home games. It wasn't great. And I expressed that. I'm just brutally honest. And Sabor's like, yeah, why would we do that? Like, you know, we should all look the same. And quickly the guys were like, yeah, we all should look the same. And so, you know, this is gonna be how we're gonna look going in on game day, and that's just the way it's gonna be. It's great having guys like that who aren't afraid to speak their mind. Grayson's not afraid. Like when the whole locker room thing came up, Grayson was like, I got this. This is important to me. I wanna handle this. It's so great having guys like that, and those are all the single-digit guys who do that they take on that responsibility. So it's a really good group. We're really pleased with the leadership they've given us, and I think they feel honored because it was a very stringent, you know, set of criteria they had to go through.
Will you guys do anything?
Question for Coach?
Will you guys do anything to get together? Obviously, you'll see film of them with Rhode Island playing tomorrow night. Any team-related thing where you guys watch the game together?
No, you know what? Like we're gonna spend that Saturday morning, and then it's like, guys, get out of here. You know, I mean, it's gonna be a grueling, whatever, 13 weeks coming up, and so I need to get the guys some time away from the facility. Like I said, I couldn't have been happier with training camp. I thought I saw progress. You know, we battled every single day. Like I said, today was the first practice. I said, hey, that was a get through it, not get better day. And we can't do that. And I get it, a lot of freshmen like, I'm gonna be the Rhode Island wide receiver, or I'm gonna be the Rhode Island center, or, yeah, that's what you need to do. You know, we all have to go through it. Back when I played, a long time ago, we had a freshman team. We had 100 freshmen at Delaware. And that's what was our job. Our job was to service the 100 varsity guys. So 90% of all college players at one point are service players. And I know when you become the guy who's actually playing on the other side, you want the guys practicing to do what you did. Because usually you don't get there unless you work your butt off to become a guy. And so again, today was the first day we did it, and I expressed my disappointment, and I know the coaches are gonna kind of cross over and say, hey, these are the guys that we need to get up to speed, and these guys did a great job, or whatever it may be. And I know our leadership people are gonna jump in, like our players are gonna jump in and say, hey, listen, that's not how you represent us. Like, we're all in, we're in this thing together. We cannot win unless we practice at a high level. And that's the last thing I'll say is that I think our guys understand our best chance of having success is practicing at a really high level. We've done that up until today. And today was that one little step back that we got to just take a deep breath and say, okay, that's not how we can do this.